There's a problem with the offensive line. It's not the one you're thinking of.
You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. I am Clint. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time app, download it today. Use promo code Locked On College, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Welcome back into the podcast. Glad you guys are here. If you're a first listener, if you're an everydayer, if you're somebody who has to have download, have to get over on YouTube, have to have the audio to make your day go, we appreciate you very, very much. You are the reason why we do this podcast. Daniel sends his regards. He has some thoughts on this Austin Peay game that just took place. I have the thoughts. We've contacted others. We got some intel. We got some insights. And let me just start here. The offensive line is a problem, but it's not the thing you're thinking of. Here we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about the offensive line. We're going to talk about Gunnar Stockton and the controversy that y'all can't stop yourself from making. And I'm going to try my best. It's stupid. It's foolish. It's pointless because no one will listen. There is not a soul on planet Earth besides the small silent voice in the back of your head telling you who is the better quarterback. No matter how many times film guys, scouts, coaches, players, no matter how many times people talk about it, it won't help. But I'm going to try. I'm going to do my best. And then segment 3, we're going to talk about this defense. And I'm going to tell you right now, we will go up against any offense and be just fine. It give you some feels that should excite you, but it also should come with some trepidation, because what that means is you might have bucket-worthy games all season long. I'll explain what a bucket is in the third segment. First, I want to talk about this offensive line. A couple good notes as we saw from the Austin Peay game. Coming out of halftime, this offensive line looked to me to be far more aggressive, far more solidified, far more focused, and far more tenacious. It was clear as day that the whole entire game plan, Daniel and I talked about this on Saturday after the game. We said that this was the most vanilla script we can find. If the DB was pressed 6-7 yards off of a wide receiver, it was a quick check. Gunnar Stockton checks out, goes to a quick screen, gets it upfield and says, get whatever you can, 6-7 yards, no problem. A couple times drop balls. A couple times wide receivers got to 6, 7, 8 yards. Colby Young looked good. Talon Taylor looked good. Those cats are doing just fine. However, it was the easiest game plan to know which plays were coming. Kirby Smart said in the presser on Thursday, the smaller defensive line, we're going to give our big offensive line some fits with stunts and movement. And even said it's really hard when you have small guys like that undersized to get a hold of them. And we saw later on, goal line stand before the halftime, that it was, in fact, ridiculously frustrating. But coming out of the second half to start, Kirby Smart simply said, I don't care about the scoreboard. I don't care about the point spread as other people do. I don't care about anything. I want us to get out there. And heck, if you were to scream back to me confirmation, if we got rid of the headsets, we got rid of the communication, and I was just screaming in from the sideline what the play was, you better be able to execute it and go get you some. He was talking about that before half. It was all heart getting into that goal line that we didn't wind up doing. And the offensive line didn't have it. Now, notably within this, 10 different offensive linemen come in. Huge rotational pull in that. Micah Morris, good news from the game. We saw him walking around, no boot, no obstruction, no limitation on that movement-wise. Is he ready to go pain tolerance-wise as well as flexibility? We'll see against Tennessee in the coming week. It'll be a question that Kirby Smart gets asked in the presser, and this is going to be his answer. He's dealing with a lower extremity injury. And then you'll ask more, and he goes, he's dealing with a lower extremity injury. Did a couple things today. Hope to get him back this week. That's what he's going to say. Okay, so just get ready for it. Get used to it. We got to see Micah Morris play, and he looked good. We got to see Drew Bobo play. He looked good. We got to see tackles play, and they didn't look good. We're going to talk about that. Michael looked good when he was spot for guards, as tackles, as the whole thing. But the problem we have with this offensive line is simply this. It's simply health and continuity. We were, before the season, Daniel and I said probably eight, 9 guys rotating through to find the best 5 mix. We were prepared for it. We knew it was going to happen. We weren't sold on Freeling and Green banged up being the guys. We didn't know who was going to be the guys. We thought Micah Morris might have to slot out to the tackle position in some instances to give us depth and get us going, because he is tenacious and he is just fine playing right guard for us right now. We didn't know that Michael was going to come in, and we didn't know that Juan Gaston was going to be injured. We thought Drew Bobo was going to be fine. Now add on top of that Glover. Glover's coming in, huge injuries all up and down. And you think to yourself, you say to yourself, this offensive line just doesn't have any want to. Nope, that is not the issue. It was the issue going into half. Coming out of half, that answer was taken care of. Coming back out of half, the want to, the drive, the determination was answered for me. They want to, they have tenacity, they have desire. Great. The second question that I was skill. They have all the skill in the world. It's continuity and health. It's being able to understand in the 2-to-1 blocking scheme, in the zones, in the power, in the which gap, the A gap, B, the 3 tech, the 5 tech, the outside, who's going to grab what. If he's inside, shade on me, who's going to come over and grab him. That comes with continuity, because you're going to have to call it out. You're going to have to communicate. You're going to have to understand. And without guys that you've been doing it with for a while, that fold block on the outside, guard, tackle, understanding each other, knowing where they're going to go, and knowing up to the second level who's going to get it. When you rotate that many guys, communication falters, consistency falters, and health is a bad issue right now for our offensive line. I think we have 5 guys. I feel good with the top 5 guys, if healthy and if consistent, if playing together. I feel good about them. Ernest Green comes back and healthy. I feel good. Micah Morris, I feel good. Drew Bobo, I feel good. Juan Gaston, I feel good. Monroe Freeling, I feel okay about. That offensive line, let's roll. Because the running backs sure are hitting the holes and sure are creating space and sure are getting up to the second level, where linebackers and DBs are having a hard time bringing Dwight Phillips to the ground because they can't touch him. Having a hard time making sure Chauncey is in fact hit, because he's a load to take down. And Nate Frazier is dead legging when he's holding on to the football, dead legging, one step moving and cutting laterally. These running backs are fine. The scheme is fine. The run game is fine. Even as vanilla as it was, not calling anything, they were getting push. Glover, as a 6 or 7 as a rotational aspect, he probably isn't a 6 or 7 right now. He might be because of health. But even Glover as a freshman, 6'3", 320, looking like he has a forward lean and is coming downhill in a great capacity. You go back and watch the film. The offensive line in the run game is fine. And by the second half, in the pocket, Gunnar had time. The pass protection was clean. We saw this last year. We didn't see it as clean early on last year. Last year, we understood that there was some consistency lacking in the pass pro with that horseshoe. But there were moments where it was a perfect horseshoe. And Carson Beck had all the time in the world. And there were other times where it was just faltering and falling apart because blitz pickup was not our thing. This year, Cass Jones, the running backs, and the rest of them had the blitz pickup just fine. Tight end's going to be an issue. Barber goes down with an injury, which, my word, get back healthy, because Ethan Barber was, in fact, leading the snap count from tight ends because of his ability to block. His ability to block made him a potent weapon for this offense. Now he goes down. He's done for the year. Oscar Delp, Lucky Rydell, they're going to have to step up. You're going to have to block a great deal. You have to put your nose into somebody's rib cage and get them going, which we saw them able to do on the outside, but it has to be in line as well between the tackles as you're folding in and leading up a running back or getting off on that 2 combo block up at the second level. Offensive line is fine. It needs health and consistency. Will we have that by the time we go to Tennessee? Huge question mark. I'm not saying in Tennessee we're going to be fine. Huge question mark. We're going to need the defense to step up. We're going to need Dwight Phillips to save us on something. We're going to need Gunnar Stockton to scramble around and get us a few yards, because that offensive line is not gelling right now. I don't know who health concerns are there. Yeah, it's a big concern for Tennessee. Long term, I'm happy to say we're going to be fine. Short term, this week, big old question mark for me, and I'm nervous. Going up to Neyland with an offensive line that hasn't played together, isn't fully healthy, big old nervous. We're going to come back after this. I'm going to let you know why you're creating a narrative about Gunnar Stockton that literally no one in the coaching staff, no one in film, and no one outside of our brains is making until it's an issue, and I'm going to let you know when that is. But first, these. These are, in fact, Supply House. Supply House is fantastic. Pros know where to go. Opening whistle blows on new repairs. Get your crew moving forward. Over 280,000 plumbing, HVAC, and electrical items from the most trusted brands in the business. Real-time inventory, honest lead times keeps you from punting on projects. Whether they're industry-leading customer service, it's always on your side. And they got the blind side covered. Need parts fast for your project? Supply House has next-day delivery. Talk about a game changer. Join the free Trade Master program today and score serious perks like priority shipping, lower prices, and a dedicated support line. Visit supplyhouse.com. Sign up for free. Use promo code SHCollege5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Real people, real service. But that's not all. Also, want to let you know about Game Time. Game Time's fantastic. Daniel and I use them all the time. You should use them too, because they are fantastic. When Daniel and I need to get back into the action, tailgates, rivalries, energy in the stands, we go to Game Time because we don't like endless queues, hidden fees, and prices jumping as we go to checkout. Game Time gets us in with tickets that we love, 100%. Take advantage. It's the easiest way to score last-minute tickets. Guess what? Daniel and I, when we go to Ole Miss game, we use Game Time. That's the app we trust, we love. Faster, cheaper, less stressful than anything else. Take the guesswork out of buying college football tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONCollege, $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time today. You are all making a Gunnar Stockton fiasco that doesn't need to happen. You're asking, I want to see Puglisi. I want to see where he can go downfield. You sound the same as Stetson Bennett, JT Daniels, and Brock Vandagriff. Brock Vandagriff, I want to see what he can do. He has a cannon of an arm. That's what you're saying about Puglisi. For the record, we love Pug, and we love he's on his team. We had him on the show. We're all about him. However, you don't think that when Kirby Smart says this, and it's not me, it's literally him, and I'm going to talk about two other guys and what they're saying, because there's some concerns with Gunnar Stockton. The answer is not to replace Gunnar Stockton. The answer is to watch him develop. He has things he has to get better at. The answer is not to pull the ripcord and say, forget him, screw him, pull him out, put Puglisi back in, because he's going to be so much better. No. You don't know that. It's the Arch Manning hype. It's the same thing. He doesn't have mechanics. He doesn't have it down. He's not developing well, and he's not a good quarterback. Well, if he was playing all the time, well, what do we do this every single year. Gunnar Stockton needs to develop. He needs to get better. I'm with you. Heard somebody say the feet are so quick on Gunnar that he is so reliant on them he can't set his feet. His feet are working faster than his brain because he's a dang good athlete. We saw it on the opening drive where he took a wallop of a hit and wasn't right after. And then he got up out of bounds and he wasn't right with his ankle. The curse is he's gifted physically and athletically that he's going to go ahead and do some stuff like this and is going to affect how he plays quarterback. You have to take the good and the bad. The good is that he is always able on any play to make a live play and make a big explosive play. The bad news is it might cost his body. It might cost his head. It might cost thinking and processing. One person told us his feet are moving so fast when he's trying to get set, he's overthinking it. He's not in the flow. He's not letting it rip, which is what Coach Kirby Smart said later. Got to get the confidence, got to make sure that he lets it rip. Just let it rip, Gunnar. We believe in you. We trust you. Go. Now, that's from my perspective and my observation, but you look at everybody else who watches film and they will say the same thing. The Gunnar Stockton problem is not going to be solved with Ryan Puglisi. So if you're a Georgia fan, you're saying, well, we need Gunnar. Gunnar's not cutting it. We need Puglisi in. He's not going to cut it. Why? Point one. See segment one. Consistency and health on the offensive line. Puglisi is not the same type of athlete Gunnar Stockton is, period. He's quick. Yep. He's athletic. Yep. He's mobile. Yep. Because every single quarterback needs to be in college football today, but he is not the same type as Gunnar Stockton. It's different. With this offensive line, he might get a couple of balls batted down the line. He might be rushed to do a couple of howitzer type throws in which he's threading through the needle, in which they get intercepted, like he almost did with a minute 42 left in the game. He almost got intercepted by Austin Peavy. because he was getting rushed. Because this offensive line needs consistency and health back, because we need Juan back. We need Michael Morris to keep playing. We need Ernest Green back. We need Monroe Freeling to step up. So if you think we have a Gunnar Stockton problem, the answer is not his backup. The answer is Gunnar Stockton progressing. Now, that's if you believe that. Again, go listen to Brooks Austin, who we love on this show. Go listen to anybody else. They will say the same thing. There are points. We knew going into the season, Gunnar Stockton would have to improve. I'm not here saying he's a perfect quarterback. What I am saying is he's the best chance we have. And if he isn't, if he's not the best chance we have, and Ryan Puglisi is the best chance we have, then the entirety of the offense comes into question, not simply the quarterback position. Because the RPOs, the run down, the pull down, the threat of Gunner's legs opens up other aspects where the threat for that for Ryan Puglisi does not. So you might gain something. Who knows? I'm not saying so. If your answer is, we'll get Ryan in there, he's going to down the field over the middle throwing, maybe, but maybe they'll go back into zone a little bit more. Maybe they'll have a different defensive game plan for him that won't open up as much. Maybe they'll crash down on the running back. Maybe Nate Frazier, Chauncey, as well as Dwight Phillips don't have as much success as they've been doing, because right now we are feasting in the run game, which Kirby Smart wanted. So people watch film, people that are in it will say that thing. Let me try one more. If you're saying yourself, Gunnar Stockton is not a good quarterback, we can't have him. I'm going to list for you this where he is on QBR nationally, quarterback ranking nationally. Okay. Gunnar Stockton is 16th nationally. Okay. He has far more plays than some of the other guys. Jaden Maviava from USC, he has 30 more plays than him. Carson Beck is 5. Haynes King, 4. Jalen Kitna for UAB, 6. Tommy Castellanos for Florida State, 7. Jackson Arnold, 8. Morton, Texas Tech, 9. Pavia, Vanderbilt, 10. Eli Holston, 12. Pitt. Bo Prabula, Missouri, less. Dante Moore, Oregon, 19th. Below. John Mateer, 24th, below. I can keep going on some other guys. Garrett Nussmeier, 33. Ty Simpson, 34. Dylan Raiola, 36. Beck for Iowa, 39th. When we talk about his accomplishments, and you can say, well, that's QBR. I don't care about that. You should, because it's a metric that people are using. Like expected points added for Gunnar Stockton, 15.5, in line with Eli Holstein of Pitt, Jackson Arnold, 16, ahead of Carson Beck, ahead of Haynes Keen, and in line with Temple's Evan Simon, and with Jaden of USC right there at the same amount. Taylon Green, by the way, who, if you wanted to say me, here's what Taylon Green expected points adding is 21. That's far ahead of Gunnar. So, but Green is not the quarterback that you think Puglisi is. They are even further apart. Gunnar is closer. What I'm trying to say is this: we've made a huge narrative over something that shouldn't be there. And if you're saying to me Gunnar Stockton's the problem, my answer to you is Puglisi's not the answer. Well, let's let him rip down the field. Not right now with this offensive line. And maybe, just possibly, the coaching staff knows that. And possibly we know we want a killer run game to go up to Tennessee and win 17-13, 17, 15, 17, somewhere in there. Maybe, just maybe, 3 points, 4-point win at Neyland Stadium on the road in the SEC this year when everybody else is losing. High Florida, high Bama. Maybe is okay. That's all I'm asking you to consider, Georgia fan. That's it. That's all I'm asking. Can you consider that for me? There was my pitch. We're going to come back to this. I'm going to talk about the defense. And this defense is tough as nails and a top 5 unit nationally and will be absolutely elite the entire time. But first, these. These are, in fact, the game cap. They're fantastic. I just want to let you know, these caps are it. If you can go back and think about when you were early on 90s, 80s, and you're thinking about the most fun time that you had as a college football fan and what cap you're using, yes, cap, it would be for those that have the game cap. These are vintage looking, same vintage styles fans wore back in the 80s and 90s. And guess what? Same price, $16.99. Locked on code gets you this vintage hat. Head to thegamecaps.com. Thegamecaps.com. Grab your team's classic bar or retro circle design. Use a promo code locked on for an exclusive discount because legends wear the game. All right, let's talk about this defense because, ladies and gentlemen, there's not enough being talked. There is not enough being talked about it. Every single game that Georgia is scheduled for this year, we will be in because of our running game and our defense, which is exactly what Kirby Smart wanted before the season. Exactly what he wanted before the season. I ask you this, just answer me this question. Would you rather a top 5 offense or a top 5 defense? And it's a trick question because the only answer is championship winning teams of the last 5 years all had a top 5 defense. They didn't all have a top 5 offense. The one consistency of championship winning teams is a top 5 defense. Kirby Smart, he was asked this week, what do you look at? When you look at the stat sheet, what do you look at? And he says, rushing yards, number 1. I look at rushing yards. Number 2, third down efficiency. I want to be able to run the ball. I want to be able to keep it going. I want to have rest for my defense. I want them to be healthy and full and ready to go so that when they hit the field, and he says turnovers. He doesn't look at sacks, does not care. Turnovers, he said we made it, that's concentrated effort. We were low in that. We want to get better at that. Our guys are hungry for it. It's a hard thing to metrically prove because you have to have opportunity for it. But a top 5 defense, that should be your answer. If you care about Georgia winning championships, the answer is top 5 defense, and we have it. CJ Allen, there was one play. We saw old CJ come out for a hot minute. There was one play on a pass. He got sucked up near the last scrimmage, couldn't recover back. Austin P hit a seam route behind him, and it went for about 25. That was old CJ of last year. But everything else, tackling, coming up, filling a hole in the alley, outside, getting off blocks, having Elijah Griffin. Woo! Hello, young man. Having Chris Cole, yep, that's a superstar. That's a top 20 pick. Chris Cole is a top 20 pick. Period. Top 15. Period. Justin Williams, that man hits you. You need some pain medication. Ellis Robinson, ball hawk. KJ Bolden, who is right now maybe the most talented defensive player we have. And we're not talking about him because everybody else is making plays ahead of him. He's just coming in and being as consistent as can be. Now, on top of that, Everett and Harris. Everett getting healthy, playing. Harris looking fine. Guerrero hitting people. Coming up in run support. And that defensive line, Kristen Miller, should be talked about more. I just listed all those guys at every single level, and I listed you guys who are tackling well, pursuing well, doing assignment football well, and that not only has the talent, but it has Glenn Schumann to go with it, and it has on-the-field production that tells me, my eyeballs tell me, film tells me, getting that wide angle, other people telling me, talent evaluators telling me, everything. Click, 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 check, 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 check. This is a top 5 defense, and we are going to be championship worthy as long as that stays the case. Because we may have to keep Texas to 13 points, 14 points. We may have to keep Alabama to 17 points. Mizzou, if we are to play them down the road, which look out. Look out. Vanderbilt, look out. Mississippi State, not who you all of a sudden, Mississippi State, not who you thought you were, because the SEC has better top to bottom talent than any other conference in America. And as long as Georgia has this is a violent defense. Faster, stronger, bigger than last year's. Xavier McLeod showing me incredible depth in that. He's right now our 4th best lineman, and that's insane to me. It's crazy to me. The edge is doing just fine. Chris Cole, Gabe Harris, just fine. I say all that to tell you, as this offensive line and as this quarterback continue to progress, and again, don't hear me defend Gunner as like everything's fine. No. I'm happy to agree with you. He needs to get better. I'm dissatisfied saying the answer is Puglisi and yank Gunner. That's what I'm dissatisfied in. He does need to develop. So get better. And if he develops, he's going to be fine. With this running game that we have, this offensive line that can get downhill in a hurry, and this defense that is keeping people on track with what they are expecting. I had Josh over at Dawgs Stats on last week. We talked about passive income. That's what this defense is. It's passive income. It's you are gaining things as the offense is on the sideline, which is crazy to think about. Thorson, our kicker, back in as well. We're going to win the field control game. The field is going to be ours to dictate where they get it. And Kirby Smart is not going to put us in positions to be behind the sticks and give the offense a better field position than rather flipping it with our defense, our ball hawkishness, our opportunistic ability. And as Chris Cole continues to play the outside, he is going to be the sack artist on this team. And I'm here for it. If you want championship caliber teams, this is the defense for you. Daniel's going to be back later in the week. I got a couple of guests coming on this week, so be back for that. We're going to have film. We're going to have breakdown. We're going to have all news and notes, Kirby's presser as well, which will be very interesting this week as we get prepared for Tennessee. And Eric Kane of Locked On Tennessee is going to be with us. Cannot wait for that. It's been real. We'll see you all next time. This is Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, and we'll see you guys then.